sometimes washing with running water, a hose and a bucket, and your normal 2-bucket wash isn't always possible. Maybe you live somewhere there's water restrictions where you're not allowed to wash during certain times of day or certain times of year. Maybe it's dead of winter, you know, it's too cold outside to set up. Or maybe you just live in an apartment complex, there's not a hose hookup nearby. You know, these are real situations that a lot of our customers face on a regular basis. Well, we have a solution. It's our new Rinseless wash. With nothing more than a few ounces of this product, 2 buckets, a couple of our plush towels, I'm going to use the double sauce today, and a couple of grit guards, I'm going to be able to clean this 911 here without introducing any scratches or any damage to it whatsoever. This car belongs to a very good customer of ours, Jim. This car is very well maintained. Of course, he uses our products. It's regularly a concourse show winner. He shows up to a lot of our detail clinics, and it's always the cleanest car in the lot. It's a perfect example of a car that gets dirty from driving, maybe picks up some grime on a wet day, but it doesn't necessarily need a whole hose and bucket wash, and he definitely doesn't want to wash, you know, in the dead of winter. With these products, we'll be able to wash in the warmth of your garage or pretty much anywhere and bring the wash to your car without the need for a hose. I'm going to get these buckets filled up and we'll get started. All right, so the first part of this process is to be filling your buckets with water. Now you can fill them up in your house, take them to the car, fill them up nearby, just as long as you have some water to start with. So you don't need a hose when you actually get to the washing process, but you are gonna need water to start. So, as I showed earlier, we've got 2 double soft microfiber towels, a grit guard insert in each of these buckets. I'm gonna start by filling one with just clean water. Okay, so I've got my 1 bucket filled with clean rinse water. It's just kind of like a 2-bucket wash. You want 1 bucket to rinse in, grit guard at the bottom. The other bucket, I've got 2 double soft towels. I'm gonna leave those in the bucket. This is kind of a new use for your double soft towels. You haven't done this before. Usually these are used for pulling wax and polish and sealing off your paint. This is gonna be a little bit different use. So I'm gonna fill this with water as well. All right, so now I've got water in both my buckets. I've got my double soft towels soaking in there when I'm fully saturated and down under the water. I'm gonna grab our Rinseless wash. I'm gonna add just a couple of ounces. 1 to 2 ounces. 2 is probably ideal. And if you look real closely here, it starts to turn the water almost instantly blue. This stuff is very, very concentrated. 2 ounces to wash your entire car. As little as 1 if it's not that dirty. So what you'll do is just take the towels, reach in there, and make sure you get that liquid all the way mixed in. You'll actually feel, if you take the towel out and kind of rub it in your hands, it feels really slippery. And that's the chemical at work. What it does is it encapsulates those little dirt and dust and abrasive particles that might be on your finish and makes them safe to remove without introducing damage. It'll make it basically super slick, kind of slippery on the paint as it's coming off. I've got my buckets prepped. I don't need a hose anymore. This is great for those of you who live in a cold climate. You could fill these buckets with warm water inside your house. You got nice hot water. Fortunately, I'm a little cold out here because I'm using hose water, but if you have access to hot water at home, it makes this a lot more pleasant process regardless of what the temperature is. All right, so we're ready to get started. So I grabbed an additional dry towel. Now I'm gonna do this so we can work faster. I'm gonna need 1 wet towel and 1 dry towel, so kind of 1 for each hand. So I'm gonna get your sleeves up so you don't wanna get too wet. I'm gonna grab one of these towels that I've let soak. You wanna let some of the excess water out. You don't want these completely sopping wet when you start, but you don't wanna wring them out completely. So just give them a light squeeze till they stop dripping. Take the towel, like you would any other time, fold it into 4ths. This is gonna be your cleaning towel. You're gonna follow it with your drying towel. And it's a really simple process. Just like with waterless wash or other products like that, start from the end of the panel, wipe to the end. You got a little bit of dirt and debris in there. Flip it to a fresh spot and repeat. Undo the fold, and again, flip it, and again. Now notice I'm working from top to bottom. The dirtiest parts of your car are always going to be the lowest spots. Your wheels are probably the only dirtier part on the whole car. So you want to start with somewhere there's less dirt and work your way down. Once I'm done with this towel, I'm going to put it into my rinse bucket. I'm going to take my dry towel and just buff away any excess water that's there. It's that simple. And what I'm left with, spotlessly clean panel, no damage introduced. It's washing a car without a hose. It's great. So as we resume, just like with the regular 2-bucket wash, Gonna scrub my towel against the grit guard at the bottom in the rinse bucket. This time I am gonna wring all the water out. And quick visual inspection. Yep, all the dirt's gone. Nice clean towel. Back into my solution bucket here with the rinseless wash. Just like last time. Wring out some of the excess. Again, just until it's about done dripping. You don't want drippy, but you want wet. Fold it into 4 so I got lots of surface areas to work with. And resume on the next panel. Now I'm always working in straight lines. I'm working from end to end. Don't do circles, don't do back and forth. That's what's going to grind those little particles in the surface and cause the swirl marks. So from the start of the panel, the end, flip to a fresh side. The great thing about this is, especially if you're using our buckets with the Gamma Seal lids that screw on, is you can actually bring this solution with you to a car show. Crazy, right? You can wash your car at the car show. So instead of using a spray-on product, which is going to be a little less safe, you can do a perfectly safe, full cleaning of your car when you get to wherever you're going. Our rinseless wash leaves a nice deposit of wax behind too, so it actually adds a little bit of protection to your car, adds a little bit of gloss. It'll be ready for the show, obviously 0 scratches. It'll look perfect. So when is it safe to use a product like this? Clearly there's going to be limitations on when you want to take just a towel and some chemical and water to your paint. Well, if the car is muddy, if you've actually got visual dirt, mud stuck to the car, chunks of stuff, if you've driven in the winter and you've got a ton of salt and stuff caked on the side, it might be in your best interest to at least hose the car down and use that to knock it loose. Or run through the local pay and spray, swipe your card, put in a few quarters, and use their pressure washer to knock the big stuff off. This is a product designed more for that in-between cleaning. It's definitely safer than just using a regular spray-on product, but it's not always going to be as safe as a regular hose and bucket wash for those really, really dirty situations. It's one of those things, if you're in doubt, bring the hose out, is what I usually tell people. So now we've done about 99% of the car with the 2-bucket method. And for those of you who've used our products for a while, you might be familiar with the product waterless wash. It's actually a product that's going to be going away, but don't panic. Our rinseless wash is actually a 2-in-1. Not only can be used in the buckets with water like that, but you can dilute it into an empty spray bottle and make a spray-on version. It's not as safe as using it in the bucket, doesn't have the same amount of lubrication, but it's great for doing tight areas like this, lightly dusty brakes or wheels. You know, other areas that are a little harder to reach with a wet towel and a dry towel. You can also use it for those times the car's just barely dusty. Maybe it's been sitting in the garage after a detail and you're just trying to clean it up. It's simple. It's taking 16 ounces of clean water. Just about an ounce of product is all you're going to need to add to 16 ounces of clean water. Dilution ratio will stay the same. Using a bigger bottle, just use more product. Give it a shake. Voila, waterless wash. So I'm going to use this to spray into these areas, and I'm going to use one of our waterless wash towels to get those tight areas. Like I said, this could also be used to, you know, remove that light coat of dust that ended up on the car. Maybe you detailed a day or two ago and it sat, and that light accumulation of dust, the spray-on version is perfect for that. It's very easy to clean your wheels with this product. Spray it on all the surface, let it kind of get the brake dust and everything loose, and then just follow your same best practices. Wipe from one end to the other, flip the towel often. So what we have here is a product that you can use to clean virtually the entire exterior of your car with nothing more than either a couple of buckets of water and some towels, or if it's not that dirty, just a 16-ounce bottle of water and a couple of towels. It's great stuff. You can use it on pretty much any surface, paint, glass, your wheels, regardless of what finish the wheels are. If they're, you know, aluminum or factory clear coated, powder coated even, it's perfectly safe to use on all those surfaces. Leave them clean, scratch free, and nice and shiny.